Hi, my name is Jeremy Humphreys, and on this visual bite we'll be taking a look at a prime lens. A prime lens is a lens of fixed focal length. We can't zoom on a prime lens. I used to use them in the BBC, 25, 30 years ago, and often we use them because they give us such good resolution. The prime lens has less elements in than a zoom lens, so it's slightly smaller, but also arguably the resolution is going to be better because it has less glass elements to go through in the first place. Because it has less elements, it's also going to be a faster speed. This lens is actually f1.4. This lens, this zoom, 2.8. So on some of my shoots when I'm filming in very low light, I had a scene recently where I was filming in candlelight, then a 1.4 lens, a prime lens, is really useful. The downside, I hear you all cry, is I can't get my variable focal length. If I'm covering an actuality or covering an interview, it's more complex. Well, I have an answer to that. The way I shoot, if I am using a prime lens, if I'm using a prime lens on my FS7, then I often use center scan. I often choose a 24mm prime lens. And if I go into center scan, I can double the focal length. So in effect, I've got a 24, and I've also got a 48mm. So I can go between the two depending on my interview. I might start on a mid shot and then go into a close-up. So I can get around it with the center scan. In terms of my actuality and my observational filming, I do a lot in low light, as I say. Well, yes, I can get away with a prime lens, because with a prime lens, I don't use the zoom anyway. It's me that's the zoom. I'm moving around to get a close-up, or moving back to get my wide shot. So in effect, needing the zoom, needing the variable focal length, is not necessarily when I'm covering obs dogs. The final thing to say is in terms of what focal length prime you should choose. Lots of the hire companies want you to hire 5. We can't always hire 5. When I was in Sweden filming in my candlelight, filming in very low light levels, I needed a couple of prime lenses just to cover myself. I went for a 24mm and I went for a 50mm prime as well. Both gave me that flexibility, and both, as I say, had a very high speed, so I could film in that very low light. So now we have a 4K sensor, a 4K super 35mm sensor on the FS7. In combination with a high-speed 1.4 prime lens. Okay, we've got to keep an eye on focus and keep checking that. But that combination is worth trying. The 4K, the prime lens, the resolution, the narrow depth of field, the pictures can look fantastic.